two on the streets of Adelaide. Warren Luff to the left, Nathan Pretty in the Monster Commodore that has been a bit of a rocket ship this weekend compared to last year. He qualified 2.5 seconds quicker than he did in 2011, and he's got the jump to turn one.
He certainly does. He did that perfectly. So he leads the field into turn one. Let's hope they can get through this tight chicane all cleanly.
Oh, no, they don't. You called it too early. Jeremy Gray goes around, Jared McLeod.
Pith is involved in this as well, Aaron.
And have a look at the left front. It's like a replay of race one.
He's done and dusted, unfortunately, for this race. So terrible weekend, gets even worse if that's possible.
Lucky he's not doing the full series. He's only going to do 4 rounds that he's committed to this year. Pretty, Luff, on board with Kim Jane in the 27 car, the new line-in car. He sits P3. So can the Commodores outrun the Falcons? There's no doubt about it. Those new Fords have got speed. Yellow flags on display. Safety car is called. Baxter's next. Ryan Hansford is the best of the Fords. And, well, we haven't even got half a lap and we're cruising.
So this safety car will be no doubt for the incident at turn one, which we're just having a look now on the auto run replay. Let's see if we can spot what happened.
Oh, there's Jared McLeod down the inside, into the side of Jeremy Gray, Chris Pither. Wrong place, wrong time. Not his fault at all. And here's another angle. Around goes the SS Inductions. Ford and Pither squeezes through. And Gray started down the back in race one. He was underweight in qualifying, and that's the ex-Greg Willis car. But Pither cannot take a trick at the moment. We're under safety car on the streets of Adelaide. A restart when we come back in just a few moments. The car is heading off to pit lane. A restart in race 2, round 1 of the Auto 1 V8 Utes Series, protected by Armour All. And it's Nathan Pretty, the Monster Energy Commodore, that will lead us back to the control line. Warren Luff, the former 2-time Series Ute champ, making a one-off run this weekend. He's in the Auto 1 100 car. Kim Jane, Gary Baxter, the Commodores 1, 2, 3, 4, but James Moffat, how long can they stay there?
Well, we know that the Fords have been quick all weekend, so it's just probably going to be a matter of time before they pick off those Commodores at front. Certainly I'm not going to be unhappy about that if that's the case.
Love listening to the field as it fires over that chicane in turn 1. Chris Walton a little bit sideways in the Renko car, just in the background. Back on board, Kim Jane, P3. Ooh.
Well, hard on the limiter there by Kimbo. So
well, it's not worth changing to the next gear because you're going to have to change back down straight away.
Oh, he's definitely pushing on, so that's good.
Reece McNally here, Stratco Commodore, Ben Dunn right with him.
Oh, the boys are using plenty of track there, Nudes.
Well, it's there, so you may as well use it.
Oh, have a look at this now. 3 wide on the run up to turn 8. Hansford on the inside of Kim Jane.
And that FG pulled out and passed that Commodore pretty easily in a straight line.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the Falcons have a bit of a speed advantage in a straight line. Chris Walton now makes it 3 wide into the hairpin. And can you believe it? They all get through without running into each other.
I think they've got straight panels and mirrors attached. There's something clearly wrong with these boys. Fisher's wide, that's why. Ryle Harris is down the inside, but this has allowed Nathan Pretty and Warren Luff just to stretch a bit of a margin.
Yeah, it's exactly perfect for these guys because as the guys behind them are battling for position, slowing each other up, those two boys will be head down. Harris now up the inside of Kim Jane. So the guys are mucking around.
And we got to the bottom of Rylstrana at the end of race 1. He was jammed in 3rd gear. That's why that car really slowed off the final turn, but he did manage to bring it home and grab some points. How deep is he into the chicane? Straight across the curve at turn 2. And then on to Wakefield Street to turn 4.
One thing we know with Ryle is he always tries very hard. Come very close to the championship last year, so he'll be looking to go one step further this year and take home the title. But back on board with Andrew Fisher through the staircases, what it's commonly known to as us drivers on the street circuit here in Adelaide. Looking back now at Andrew Fisher from Kim Jane.
And this will give us a good indication. Out of turn 7 here, this is where the Fords have been getting really good runs and just blowing any Commodore off the road. Look at this, Chris Walton down the inside on Gary Baxter. He's got a run, he's got the inside line, and Baxter will have to yield.
So the Falcon boys are really using that new Coyote engine to their advantage. You don't usually see cars pulling out and passing one another into turn 8. Hansford now up the inside of Chucky Baxter.
And Harris will go through as well. Baxter's out wide up over the curb and loses a few spots in one hit. And I've already heard the murmurs around the paddock. The Holden boys are talking the P word. clarity.
Well, we haven't heard it for a while.
True.
And I guess with the FG coming on so late, we've already spoken about how the teams were burning the midnight oil to get the cars ready. I'm sure that the series will look at closing up the two cars for the next round.
And the next round will be at Symonds Plains in Tasmania. A bit of a return for us to go down to Tassie with the Utes series. We'll also head back to Winton this year for the first time in a couple of years. But this is a really good fight, right in the middle of the top 10 pack. And it's all the familiar names. They're all the guys who've been driving these cars for plenty of years, except really for Chris Walton and Ryan Hansford, who's now in his second year of Ute racing, on board with Warren Luff, the Century Batteries in car in the Auto 1 number 100 car. We'll see Greg Crick drive this car in the next round in Tasmania. I really like the way they're doing this. There's a different driver in this car at every round, and for it to be running second, this is pretty much the best it's run in a season of racing.
It certainly is a great concept to have a former two-time champion back in the car this weekend in Ryan Luff, who's got a run on his mate Nathan Pretty. Looks like Nathan in the Monster Commodore missed a gear out of turn 7 there, and Luffy has been able to slide up the inside and takes the lead.
Oh, they go so close to that concrete fence at turn 8, don't they? And he's through to the lead. He's running middle of the road. That's why. Pretty's still with him, and Walton is with them as well. He started 6th. He's up to 3rd. Here's our race 1 winner, Andrew Fisher, slicing his way through. Remember, he had to go back to 9th under the rules whereby the winner of race 1 draws a number to determine how many cars get inverted.
I'm sure he was pretty happy to only draw number 9 because we've seen in the past the field inverted up to 20 cars. So to go from 1st to 20th is a lot worse than 1st to 9th. Luff now under pressure from Pretty, locks the inside front tyre, but Walton looks like he's the man with a bit of speed here as we have a bit of an Auto 1 replay.
That's Travis Sharp, who's on debut, two-time Western Australian Saloon Car champ, joining in the Ute Series for the first time. Peter Burnett has not gone and made the chicane, but if you can not go through it, you may as well go over it.
Nothing like using a bit of curb there, Nudes.
A bit
And
of
a bit of gravel,
as well.
yeah, just to spice things up.
Well, it's worked. Look at Walton, he's all over them now. Warren Luff leading the way. He's busy. He's running an Audi this weekend. He's teaming up with Mark Eddy in the GT series for the year. And remember, he'll team up with Craig Lowndes at Sandown and Bathurst later on in the season. But I reckon he better worry about this guy. Chris Walton's down the inside of Nathan Pretty. He's through to 2nd, and he's got a lap and a half to get to Luff.
And Chris has probably been one of the guys that we've seen adjust to these cars the quickest. Cameron McConville and Nathan Pretty came into the series last year, and it really took them probably half a year to get their heads around it. But Chris, he's been quick in these cars from day one, and he's doing a fantastic job. And if Luffy's not careful, he might be under threat from him.
This Chris Walton car, it's only had 10 laps of testing in the dark at Queensland Raceway. They broke a gearbox on the 2nd lap of opening practice, but from there on, it's been plain sailing. This thing has been something of a jet, and he's got a lap to get to Warren Luff, who's basically got to open the doors here to stop him.
And we've got Ryan Hansford sitting in 3rd there. He's kept his nose clean in this race, just crept up on it. So coming on to the final. Walton having a look.
One to go. Can Luff hang on? Can Walton get by? Oh, he's got so much speed, he nearly unloads him down the front straight.
So it's clear that Walton has a lot of speed over the curb. Jeez, they're not worried about using the curbs, these fellas.
And Luff's just going to have to block everywhere because Walton's got so much car speed. It's crazy. There's nothing Luff can do.
And Luffy's entitled to go defensive on this last lap. You know, that's well within the rules. But the way that Walton's looking, it's going to be very hard for Luffy to hold him off. But we mentioned Ryan Hansford just a moment ago. He's in the box seat because if these two in front take each other out for whatever reason, he's going to pick up the pieces.
And Hansford, last year's Rookie of the Year, has set the fastest lap of this race. Half a second faster than Walton's been able to do, and he just blows Luff off the road.
Oh, Hansford's having a look as well, so...
There was nothing Luff could do about that. Walton just pulled out, past him, and pulled back in before turn 8. And now Fisher is attacking Harris. Last lap, turn 9. Oh, he's in deep there. Just pulled it up.
So really, Fisher now, he's got one more opportunity to have a go at Harris, and that'll be in the last corner, turn 14.
Oh,
it's
slow.
Luffy, so Hansford picks up 2nd.
And this will be a 1-2 for Rod Dawson's boys. What a stunning way to debut these two new FG Falcon Utes.
Harris up the inside, having a look at Luff.
No, not quite.
Luffy closes the door.
So Walton will win on the streets of Adelaide. Great job. Ryan Hansford second. The Fords are 1-2. Nathan Pretty's third. Luff is next. But if you're not in an FG at the moment, you're not going to win.
Well, that's the only way to be, Nudes.
Oh, spoken like a true blue oval man, huh? It's tight at the end. There's Jack Elsgood. He crosses the line and finishes 14th, which is a good fight back, considering he started 26th.
Oh.
The guys are going crazy. Kovacs Jr. and Warren Millett getting into it at the final turn. Troy Donis as well. It's never over till it's over.
Whoa, Fonzie Mullen in the Ramjet corridor almost wipes out Warren Millett.
Well, we got them all to the end, but it was a little bit tight. The fans at the grandstand loved it. Walton and Hansford do as well. 1-2 for Ford. Pretty, Luff and Fisher round out the top five. David Cedars, that was a big charge. He started 24th. He finished in 10th, but it's our race.